Okay, we can get started. I don't know if you got the recording ready. So, I'm Chris with Atwell. We're a civil engineer on the project. Do a lot of work locally. The developer is Rick Newman out of Florida. He does a fair number of self-storage units. So, the project, obviously, 1251 North Main. I think everybody here knows where it is, but here we got an overview briefly. You got the highway ramp up here and neighborhoods back here, and as you continue south, that's when you hit downtown. Just a brief overview of the property. It's 1 acre. It's currently zoned C3, which is fringe commercial. The existing use is an auto body shop. And surrounding the property is all city land, and it is a park. Here's the footprint of the building, what we're looking to do. So it's going to be 77,000 square feet, 4 stories, features 2 loading bays, elevators. There is a small office space right up front here, and that'll be essentially a leasing area for the storage units. It'll be just occupied by the owner and the company managing it. 7 parking spaces, 1 of those will be EV, and 1 is ADA, and we've got 4 covered bike spaces. Here, just more renderings, a few different sides of the building. And then I have just the various sheets that we can flip through. If you have specific questions, we can talk about any of the specifics of the project. But that's a brief overview. There's not a ton to it. It is a by right development, which means it's allowed under the current zoning. We would be meeting all of the zoning requirements. No variances are being asked for at this time.
So when you say it at this time, does that mean there could be some in the future?
In theory, but that's not our intent. It's not. I'm not trying to pull it over on you here. Given the current building, it would all meet, and that's the goal. To not have any variances.
Are there any illustrations showing the building, on from the street level, so we actually see what it looks like if we were driving by?
Yeah, I can pull that up real quick. We don't have a sort of like a image-based rendering, if that makes sense, but I have some elevations here.
Well, that doesn't help. My point is, we want to see it in place, in situ, so we see how it works with the tree lines and how it fits into the hill and how that works.
Got it. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, we don't have that yet. That usually is something that comes a little bit later in the process.
I mean, for example, that shot right there, if it was placed in the right way, we'd see how it goes.
Understood. Understood. I will say, I think we talked about it briefly, but the slopes of that hill rise very quickly, and it'll get above the building before too long.
Yep. And the color I'm seeing in the corner is what is that? The offices. Look at the office. That's just windows going into a space.
So this is going to be the first floor office.
Yep.
And then these windows, I don't know if you've seen before. Those are like the storage doors.
Yep.
And they usually, I think, are colored based on whoever is managing at the time. They each have their own colors.
You mean the door into the storage unit?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So why would you see that in the window?
I think it might be a marketing thing, but it's, not throughout the whole thing. I think it's more just to sort of
And
show
then
what
is there
it
like
is.
one hallway down? Do you have a schematic to show like the placement of the different units?
So we don't have the full layout, what the internals will look like, other than the office space picked. Right now, it's just a floor plan conceptually.
We're just trying to figure out so if I'm emptying out a house and I have a van full of furniture, I'm going to come into the loading dock, and then how do I get to my unit? Is there a hallway?
Yeah, there'll be internal hallways. And then you know the loading docks are here. You've got 2 elevators to take you to the different floors. And then I think the main reason we don't have a breakdown is because they'll do different sized units depending on what they think is in demand. So that'll vary a little bit obviously, but the total square footage is set.
Okay. And how many units did you say was gonna be in it?
I don't have a
Oh, you
unit. We don't know an exact unit count at this
But
point.
it's 4 stories and 4 floors or
4
whatever.
floors,
Okay.
correct.
Right.
Yep.
And what's the square footage
Hey,
again?
Chris, sorry to interject. And just so you know, those units that are shown on the display windows, they're fake units. It's more just to show the marketing, the color of the display doors, but those are fake. So those are actual storage units that people will be storing items in.
Got
It's
it.
more just to add some colors and marketing stuff.
Good to know. What was your question? Where did we-
What was the total square footage of the
Oh,
building? again?
just over 77,000 square feet.
And you're pretty much just taking up the whole footprint of what you can, right? Just with your required setbacks?
Correct. What feasibly we can do while still providing parking and
Yeah.
room for a little bit of grading around the edges to get stormwater captured and everything. And just I guess on the engineering side of things, it's going to be underground detention. This is an MDOT road, so we are in talks with MDOT on this entrance, and we'll need to get approval from MDOT for everything. This is the rough footprint of the underground storage tank. And just so you're aware of where we are in the process, we have had our preliminary flip through of the plans with the city. After this meeting, we will formally submit for site plan, and then we'll start getting reviews. And once the city has, planning has approved everything, we would then go into construction plans, which also need to be approved by the city.
How much traffic do you anticipate? Only because left-hand turn lanes going in and a left-hand turn going out. Right-hand turns are not gonna really be a problem per se. Left-hands could be a little dicey.
Yeah, very little traffic is what they tend to see. That's why we only have 7 parking spaces here. It is a busy road, but given the relatively low number of trips generated, not seen it as too big of a concern.
I guess that's why I was asking how many units,
Self-storage.
because how many units there are, like.
Oh, what was that, Rick?
Self-storage is virtually the lowest generator of traffic of any commercial development that there is. And you have our traffic generation letter that was submitted, but it's a extremely low number of trips generated by this facility.
What other uses were permitted in the zoning category that's in?
I'd have to look it up, but I think just general sort of office space, similar to what's across the street. I believe it's all zoned the same.
Commercial across the street.
We're industrial.
Yeah.
Oh, it is more industrial. Yeah, I'd have to confirm everything that was allowed in fringe commercial, but I think it's primarily things like this, office space. Don't know if residential is allowed.
Is brownfield something that is accessible to you?
I don't. Good question.
A lot of cars, a lot of oils and stuff.
That's
and
what I was
yeah,
thinking.
Yep.
Um,
And a lot of cars were stored out behind there, when they were funky, so they're dripping things, although that's all scraped that up pretty quickly, I think.
And so we have done a phase 1 and a phase 2 on the site. There is some contamination from the existing use, and part of this plan, it would any excavated contaminated soil would be removed and treated.
But you don't know if you're going to be applying for brownfield funds.
I don't believe so. Rick, have you looked into that at all? The question was in regard to brownfield.
Yeah, no, at this stage, there's no plans to apply for brownfield.
Why so plain Jane? You've got this huge walls that are just boring, vertical siding. And of course I can understand that because there's storage, but you could do something a little bit more dramatic or a little more interesting. You've got this, people come into town, you've got this great big view there, artwork, something other than what you're showing.
Yeah, I mean, we can look into it. The renderings are all preliminary, and then
Right.
again, it's the actual management company that usually comes down the line. So
Yep.
it's whether it's gonna, I don't know the different names of it, but whether it's the orange door ones or the green door one, they'll probably want to have their own flavor to it. So right now we try to keep it very basic.
Okay, well,
But
it's
if
tough to get
that's-
excited about it, it's pretty basic.
I hear ya.
If you show us something dramatic, all right, we love it, but right now it's just, so.
Understood.
What are the hours gonna be? Is that 24/7?
That's a good question. That I don't know. Rick or Santi, can you answer that? Was the hours of operation?
Yeah, typically the office tends to be open either between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. until about 5 to 6 p.m. And depending on that varies between different locations. And then the access hours for customers who have units tends to be open from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. so that they can access their units and store materials or access their other 6 to 11.
6 a.m. to 10 a.m., that's only
I
4
think
hours.
10 p.m.
Oh.
Sorry, 10 p.m.
Oh, okay, all right, I was gonna say, wow, that's very
11
restrictive.
p.m. 11 p.m. Sorry, it has to be 11 p.m.
11,
But that way
okay.
they can access their belongings after hours, when needed.
But there's full security here. It's all card access, gated, and with security monitored.
The gate into the parking area or gated into the building, or both?
So there's a gate right here,
Okay.
lift gate. Obviously got the parking here for new residents, and then once you have a storage unit, you can go into the others.
Okay. Your card or whatever opens
Yeah.
the gate or whatever you get in, okay.
Correct.
All right.
This is the old Hawkins property,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And they were somebody wanted to put a dispensary there, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And I think back then, First Martin owned the Lotus building and they kind of mixed it a little
Okay.
bit.
I thought there were bigger issues with like in and out. That was what my memory of that.
Traffic wise, you're right.
Yeah, because that was gonna be higher
People
traffic.
come in all, let's go in there.
The location would make it difficult for anything that did experience a large amount of traffic for sure.
Yep.
Margaret's gonna say that.
Hi, Margot.
Oh,
Yep.
there it
Hello.
So, yeah,
Well, that's about it.
that's about it.
Okay.
is. What are the rest of your slides? Is that all?
So this was actually, these were the plans that were submitted to the city. I can bring the actual presentation back up, but
Yeah, just go through them a little more slowly, just.
Well, I would challenge the owner to, he's got a nice opportunity to do something kind of nice in our town.
yeah.
And I suppose, he builds these other places and stuff, but he could sort of step up and make this a little bit more of a,
Aesthetically pleasing.
aesthetically pleasing, the best unit in his collection, as it
Yeah,
were.
all right. Well, here, can you,
Oh,
I
you
need
guys
at
are
least,
gonna come-
one comment card here. Did you want one too?
No, I mean, whatever.
We're something we can take or
Yeah, yeah.
or just look at?
Feel free if you want to take a set of plans. A set of plans.
All set.
These were what were uploaded to the city, and that following this, once I upload the information from this meeting, it'll be uploaded and reviewed.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gives me something to do.
See you, Dave.